Good evening, everybody. I am Village Attorney Danielle Gersick, and I'd like to call the Village of Niles regular Board of Trustees meeting to order at 7 p.m. Please join me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. Village Clerk Marlene Victorine, would you please call the roll?
Thank you. Trustee Strzelecki?
Here.
Trustee Laverty?
Here.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Here.
Trustee Matthias?
Here.
Trustee Jeckett?
Here.
President Alpajanis is absent.
And in the absence of President Alpajanis, I ask for a motion and a second to nominate a President Pro Tem.
So moved.
I nominate trustee, did you say it?
Oh.
Not yet. No, it's your.
Nominate trustee Strzelecki as president pro tem.
Second. So moved. Second.
Trustee Laverty nominates Trustee Strzelecki as President Pro Tem. Would you take the roll?
Thank you. Trustee Laverty?
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
And Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
And President Pro Tem, can you please take your seat?
Good evening, everyone. We have announcements. Katie Schneider, Home for the Holidays raffle drawing.
Thank you, trustees. Over the holiday season, starting on November 26th through December 23rd, we offered a Home for the Holidays raffle as a shop local initiative here in the village. We support our businesses all year round, but especially during the holidays. So residents that shopped in Niles could turn in their receipts for a entry into this raffle. We had a lot of participating residents, so I'm going to ask if Trustee Strzelecki, who's taking the mayor's place this evening, could come up. We're going to pull 5 names. Each of them will receive a 100 gift card to the business of their choice, Niles business of their choice, and I will reach out to everyone tomorrow. So, okay. We're improvising. Okay, so the first resident is Megan Early. So we will contact Megan Early for her gift card. The second resident is Gilbert Yambot. So looking forward to getting your gift for you. Third winner is Brian Early. Fourth winner is Brian Early. They shop a lot of Niles. I mean, what can I say?
Operating budget to be separately to the finance committee. But everything else looks.
The last one is
These are right. I
Bob
took them right off of.
Delanardis on Alcanto. So I will reach out to all the winners tomorrow. Thank you to all of our residents who participated in the raffle, and certainly to everyone who does shop in Niles. We certainly do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Trustee.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Next announcement is for Fred Braun, Farm on Franks.
Thank you, Trustee Strzelecki. Now is the time to register for a plot at the Farm on Franks. Eligibility is available to residents of the Village of Niles as well as non-residents. Gardeners must sign and return a garden plot agreement and application form for entry into the lottery. Winners must submit payment of $25 refundable or $30 non-refundable to the village by April 1st, 2022. The final deadline for applications is 5 p.m. on March 18th. After March 18th, the plots will be assigned and emails or letters, if no email is provided, will be sent to residents notifying them of the plot number that has been assigned. The cost of each plot is $25 or $30. Plots must be paid for at the Village Hall by April 1st. Gardeners returning from the prior year will have priority to reapply. These gardeners, along with those who were placed on a wait list the prior year, will be re-entered into a first lottery for plots which become available the following year. Participants may begin to set up and maintain their gardens on or after April 1st, weather and payment permitting. The gardening season ends October 31st. All plots must be free of dead plants, produce remains, and all structures and items such as fencing and cages. Winter crops, however, will be allowed to be planted in order to ensure soil stability. For further information, you can visit vniles.com or call the Village Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Village Clerk Marlene Victorine.
Thank you. I'd like to announce that on Monday, February 21st, is President's Day and a village holiday. Facilities will be closed. The Family Fitness Center will be open regular hours, 5:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. Chuck Osman, Commercial and Residential Cross Connection Survey Study.
Thank you. The Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, the IEPA, requires regulations to be in place to protect our drinking water systems, and every water supplier is required to develop and implement a comprehensive cross-connection control program for the elimination of existing cross-connections and prevention or protection from all future cross-connections. A requirement of this program is to conduct a survey of all water customers every 3 years. All Niles residential, commercial, industrial water customers will be receiving a letter in February. Please simply follow the instructions on the letter for completion of the survey. There is no cost and it takes only a few minutes to complete. Surveys should be completed within 30 days of receipt. Niles is utilizing the services of BSI to assist with the program operations, including the survey. They specialize in cross-control program management. Note that if you have a required backflow protection, you may also be notified for compliance, meaning testing, repairs, installations by BSI. Niles cross-control program is designed to safeguard the public health. We ask for your cooperation with the program, its enforcement, and any request for information that comes from BSI or the village. If you have any questions, please call our plumbing inspector at 847-588-8068. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Under proclamations, the proclamation honoring the life of Henry Meinke will be presented in February. It's postponed. Under the mayor's report, Fire Chief Feld, will you please comment on COVID-19?
Thank you, sir, and good evening, Board. Per the Governor and Illinois Department of Public Health, Illinois has reached its peak with the Omicron variant. The news is encouraging, but I must warn our residents to continue to take precautions to avoid catching and spreading the highly contagious virus. While new cases and hospitalizations are trending down, area hospitals remain overburdened with the sheer volume of patients. As of this morning, 1,869 new cases of COVID have been recorded by the Cook County Department of Public Health for our community. This is the largest number for a single month since the pandemic began some 22 months ago. The current Cook County positivity rate is 9.5. Our 7-day positivity rate is 7%. Cook County Department of Public Health is stating that 86.3% of eligible residents have received at least one shot, and 65.3% have received both vaccines. Yesterday, I spoke with a program delivery specialist from FEMA on previously purchased PPE and the decontaminating supplies being considered for reimbursement. Progress is being made, and the village is on track for being reimbursed for over $70,000 for purchases made in fiscal year 2020 and 2021. This amount is over and above what has already been received. On Wednesday, the 19th of January, the Niles Fire Department once again supported the Illinois Department of Public Health and Cook County Department of Public Health by providing EMS oversight during a mass vaccine held at the Culver School. Finally, if it has been 6 months since you received your second vaccine, please schedule a booster appointment for yourself. Also, if you have yet to receive a vaccine, please consider doing so for your safety and ours. Sir, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chief Feld. Mayor Applejonis will be giving the State of the Village address at the 9th Annual Chamber of Commerce and Industry Recognition and Leadership Luncheon on January 27, 2022, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Lone Tree Manor. The mayor will be sharing updates on the village and economic development that affects not only your business community, but also residents and visitors to Niles. For registration details, visit the chamber website. State of the Village address will be recorded and shared on the village website. Congratulations to Kathy Takey, the new Deputy Village Manager, well deserved. She has been with the village for 15 years, and we all look forward to working with her in her new capacity. Congratulations, Kathy. I also want to add that over the last 5-6 days, we experienced 2 snowfalls. Although they were not major snowfalls, but they were troublesome for timing and weekends and things like that. And I want to commend Public Works for a great job. Thank you. Trustee reports. Trustee Laverty, Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We had a Finance Committee meeting on January 5th. We were brought up to date on the current status of the budget and discussed the RFP for auditing firms. We anticipated the Finance Committee to first review of the budget at our next meeting on February 2nd, but that meeting has been changed to February 9th to allow staff more time to finalize the CIPs, and the operating budget will be brought separately in the March Finance Committee meeting. I would once again briefly explain the property tax increases. There are some misunderstandings on why we needed this increase. So let's talk about the pension real quick. As of 2011, the village exceeded the minimum statutory requirements, and by 2017, the village had contributed over $27 million to both the police and fire pensions. That was $12 million more than the previous 10 years. We continued to fund the pensions to the statutory limit, and the general fund contributed $5,939,241 in the current fiscal year. During that 5-year period, the investment funds didn't achieve the actuarial's rate of return. Thus, the 50% increase in liability, even though the village was funding the statutory amounts. The investments are overseen by the pension board that has professional advisors and is out of the hands of the village board once we fund it. And let's talk about the important issue about subsidies. For transparency to the citizens on how our taxpayer dollars are spent, the general fund collects the property taxes, which funds our pensions, and also subsidizes the operations of the fitness center, senior center, family services, and the free bus. These programs are subsidized at an average $2.6 million a year from the general fund, and the last 12 years alone totaled $30+ million. So you can clearly see that not getting the return on investments and the subsidizing of these programs negatively impacts the general fund revenue and requires more revenue. I note that these programs have been around for decades, and every elected official, without exception, that sits up here now and sat up here before, have been challenged with the same important issue: fund our pensions while continuing to subsidize life-changing programs and services for our residents. This issue will continue year after year, as the options are few if you believe in the benefits that these programs provide. To the tune of $777,000. So this is where your funds, this is where your tax dollars are going. These are critical programs for our community. They've been around a long, long time. I believe the fitness center started in 1997. And at the time, subsidizing them made sense because the tax dollars were up, the collections were good, the economy was good. But I don't think you run away and hide just because the economy gets bad. You just challenge yourself to continue to do them. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Laverty. Trustee Niedermeyer, General Government, IT, Building and Zoning Committee, Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan Advisory Group.
And a partridge in a pear tree. The Building and Zoning Committee met for the first time in 2022 on Thursday, January 20th at 8:15 a.m., live and in person at Village Hall. The meeting opened with a general discussion on outdoor dining, with hopefully a return to normal business operations sometime in the near future. The committee thought it was wise to review our older codes and zoning ordinances regarding the village's outdoor eateries. The group agreed, and the team will return with some recommendations and updates at a future meeting. Next, the committee turned to real estate transfers, where we discussed making the transfers and supporting documentation more transparent and readily accessible. The end goal of ultimately digitizing these documents or to create a more streamlined and efficient workflow was deemed desirable and worth further exploration. Soon after, the group discussed the renewed EPA mandate for stronger cross control on all village backflow devices, as Chuck Osman just explained to us. While this renewed push by the EPA largely impacts commercial constituents in Niles, it will also impact some residents, particularly those with in-ground sprinkler systems. These steps and stronger commitment to proper device installation and maintenance will ensure the integrity of the village's potable drinking water. Next, the village committee discussed a number of items for the fiscal year 2023 budget, including community outreach and data collection on real estate transfers and activities, the possibility of developing a North Milwaukee sub-area plan, brand new design guidelines for residential and commercial structures within the village, and improvements to the Grow Your Home program. The committee then proposed and recommended a text amendment on dumpster permits that must be placed in the street for homes that cannot fit them in a driveway or other convenient spot on the property. The committee then discussed the new Home to Market Act that is being adopted by many municipalities across the U.S. in light of the pandemic, allowing some homes physically separated bike lanes could be added, and areas where sidewalks are still needed. Some notable ideas were a trail around Mary Hill Cemetery, a destination trail around Golf Mill, bike facilities at Milwaukee Avenue, similar to those in Chicago, pedestrian signal improvements, at 3 p.m. in Village Hall. And finally, for me, the General Government IT Committee met on Tuesday, January 11th, 2022 at 9 a.m. via remote Zoom video conferencing. The committee discussed the continuation of the electrical aggregation program for the electrical supply of the village's water pumping stations and street lighting. This is significant and necessary village expense, and aggregation helps us to pay the lowest competitive rates. The committee reviewed the RFQ and the capabilities of the recommended vendor. The group also covered the authorization of the village manager to be a signatory on the contractual agreement. Next, the committee reviewed, then approved, and recommended the revised health insurance plans offered by the village to employees. The recommended plan controls cost while still providing quality health insurance to our village's most valuable asset, our employees. And finally, our new IT director, Raman Ali, walked us through the need to perform an objective IT networking infrastructure assessment in order to bring the village up to date. An RFQ is in the works as our recent restructuring audit detected areas of improvement that we will be looking forward to modernizing. The next GGIT committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 8th at 9 a.m. via Zoom. That concludes my report, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Trustee Niedermeyer. Trustee Matthias, Public Works Committee.
Thank you. The Public Works Committee met on December 17th, 2021 to discuss the following. The first item on our agenda was the lead water service. House Bill 3739, as of January 1st, 2022, is in effect. There are an estimated 4,000 homes that still have lead service lines in Niles. Starting in 2027, the village will have 17 years to completely replace all the lead lines from tap to meter. The village is currently investigating options to address the financial responsibility for the private portion of the line. The second item was fiscal year 23 budget. Public Works staff discussed upcoming projects that will be in the fiscal year '23 budget. Items discussed varied from facility projects, aesthetics, wayfinding, and gateway signs, water tower painting, and replacing certain fleet vehicles to 100% electric. Budget meetings are underway to determine what projects will stay in the budget. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Matthias. Next is my report for Red Center. The Regional Emergency Dispatch Center Board met via Zoom on January 19th, 2022. Normal opening business was completed, and Executive Director Leinert gave his report, which included a wrap-up of 2021. Red Center took in 143,706 calls and executed 51,497 runs. It was an increase of 6% over 2020. Of those calls, approximately 12% were the responsibility of the Niles Fire Department. The Director discussed projects for 2022 and reported on the new radio system to be updated in the upcoming year once financing is approved. The City of Des Plaines also informed the Red Center Board that they will be investigating the possibility of severing their relationship with Red Center. They stressed that this is only an investigative stage based on financial reasons and not the performance of Red Center. They needed to inform the board per the bylaws. And that concludes my report. Next up, public comments. The floor is open for public comments on agenda items only. Please step up to the microphone, state your name and city, and make your comment. You will be allotted 3 minutes. Please make sure you sign in at the reception desk. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak on agenda items only? Okay. Consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no individual discussion of these items unless a trustee so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered at the end of the new business. Do I hear a motion to allow items 9A through 9O to be on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Thank you. Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
Trustee Laverty?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
And Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Okay. Village Clerk, will you please read the consent agenda items 9A through 9O into the record?
Thank you. 9A, approval of December 14, 2021, regular Board of Trustees meeting minutes. 9B, approval of December 14, 2021, public hearing summary, proposed property tax levy increase. 9C, approval of January 5, 2022, special Board of Trustees meeting minutes. 9D, appointment of Julie Gentile to represent the Niles Park District on the Public Arts and Culture Advisory Council. 9E, appointment of Kim Biederman, Executive Director of the Niles Chamber of Commerce, as Chair of the Public Arts and Culture Advisory Council. 9F, appointment of Kathy M. Takey, Deputy Village Manager, to the Building and Zoning Committee. 9G, ordinance amending Chapter 50 floods, Section 50-61, permitting requirements to all floodplain areas to the Niles Code of Ordinances. 9H, ordinance authorizing the disposal of surplus personal property owned by the Village of Niles Police Department equipment. 9I, ordinance accepting a revised plat of easement grant for certain property located at 9208 Cortlandt Drive. 9J, resolution ratifying a contractual agreement with AEP Energy for the electrical supply of the village's water pumping stations and street lighting. 9K, resolution amending Resolution 2021-43R, authorizing the use of Rebuild Illinois funds to pay for the local public agency match for the Howard Street FAU 1334 rehabilitation and bike path construction in the amount of $1,309,423.32. 9L, resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with PACE for the purchase of services for the provision of bus services, Niles Courtesy Bus for 2022. 9M, resolution authorizing the pandemic leave policy for Village of Niles employees through February 28, 2022. 9N, resolution approving a collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Niles and AFSCME Council 31, Local 2953, effective May 1, 2021 through April 30, 2025. And 9O, board approval to ratify a change order 1 for PO 227427 for an additional expense for temporary human resources services provided by GovTemps USA in the amount of $6,450.50.
Thank you, Village Clerk.
You're welcome.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve, the board approval for consent agendas 9A through 9O?
So moved?
Second.
Marlene, please call the roll.
Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
Trustee Laverty.
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
And Trustee Matthias.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, under new business, Trustee Niedermeyer, 10A.
Okay. I move for board approval of an ordinance approving a special use permit as required in Appendix B, Section 8.2A, to allow pet services day boarding, pet services overnight boarding, and pet services grooming at 7254 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Second.
The Planning and Zoning Board voted 7-0 to recommend approval of the request at a public hearing held on December 6th, 2021.
Okay, any comments to the left? Joe, got any comments? Please call the roll.
Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
Trustee Matthias.
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
Trustee Laverty.
Yes.
And Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
Passes.
10B, Trustee Matthias.
I move for board approval of an ordinance authorizing the placement of no parking signs on the north side of Seward Street from 7018 to 7102 Seward.
Second.
The Public Safety and Public Works Committees had safety concerns brought to their attention regarding on-street parking on Seward Street. This street is not wide enough to support on-street parking on both sides of the street. The road becomes impassable to fire engines, ambulances, and other village vehicles. Seconds and minutes can be the difference between life and death. Residents from this neighborhood were invited to a public meeting held on December 2nd, 2021, to discuss the situation and let them know the reasons why this action must be taken by the village. Fire, police, and public works spoke to the residents about the situation. Residents stated this could be an inconvenience, but also understood that it is necessary to save lives. Root has also reported numerous occasions when their trucks could not get down the street to collect garbage and recycling. Both Public Safety and Public Works Committees approve of this action going forward.
Okay, any comments to the left? Nothing? Please call the roll.
Trustee Matthias.
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
Trustee Laverty.
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, 10C, Trustee Matthias.
I move for board approval of an ordinance approving the placement of no parking signs on the south side of Evinger Drive from 6557 to 6501 Evinger.
Second.
Now, Marlene, do I have to read the same thing into the record, or can I just mention it's the previous of the no, with streets being impassable where fire, police can't get down?
Right. You can, I would read it again, actually,
Okay.
for every one of them, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yes, you can do it. We'll time you.
The Public Safety and Public Works Committee had safety concerns brought to their attention regarding on-street parking on Ebinger Drive. This street is not wide enough to support on-street parking on both sides of the street. The road becomes impassable to fire engines, ambulances, and other village vehicles. Seconds and minutes can be the difference between life and death. Residents from this neighborhood were invited to a public meeting held on December 2nd, 2021, to discuss the situation and let them know the reasons why this action must be taken by the village. Fire, police, and public works spoke to the residents about the situation. Residents stated this could be an inconvenience, but also understood that it is necessary to save lives. Both Public Safety and Public Works Committee approve of this action going forward.
Okay, any comments to the left? Joe, any comments? No.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. 10D, trustee Matthias.
I move for board approval of an ordinance approving the placement of no parking signs on the north side of Lawler Avenue and the east side of Oquito Avenue from 7705 Oquito to 7418 Lawler Avenue.
Second.
The Public Safety and Public Works Committee had safety concerns brought to their attention regarding on-street parking on Lawler Avenue. This street is not wide enough to support on-street parking on both sides of the street. Cars are parking on sidewalks and residents are forced to walk in the street. The road becomes impassable to fire engines, ambulances, and other village vehicles. Seconds and minutes can be the difference between life and death. Residents from this neighborhood were invited to a public meeting held on December 2nd, 2021 to discuss the situation and let them know the reasons why this action must be taken by the village. Fire, police, and Public Works spoke to the residents about this situation. Residents stated this could be an inconvenience, but also understood that it is necessary to save lives. Both Public Safety and Public Works Committee approve of this action going forward.
Okay. Any comments to the left? No. Joe, any comments?
No question.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Thank you. Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Passes.
10E, trustee Matthias.
I move for board approval authorizing a bid award and contractual agreement with Jetco Limited to provide Four Flags tank rehab, painting, and tower facilities lighting protection and Oriole tower lighting protection in the amount of $1,166,986.
Second.
Bids were received from 3 firms for the Four Flags tank rehab, painting and lower facilities lighting protection, and Oriole Tower lighting protection project. Jetco Limited provided the lowest base plus alternate contract price of $1,166,986 and has met all bid requirements.
Okay. Any comments to the left?
Yeah, because this is such a large number, and I think most people don't know what we use the water towers for, and I think it wouldn't hurt to walk through. Fred, do you think you could walk through it a little bit, just what all that
Sure.
entails?
Sure. The primary reason to have the water towers by Notre Dame and Four Flags is to have sufficient pressure as you get farther away from the pumping stations. So they have water towers that have the water elevated, and the downward pressure creates more pressure to get the water throughout the town at a safe level. The safe level being what the fire department requires for their equipment to pump water out of fire hydrants, fire suppression systems in buildings, and also for the drinking water to come out with pressure. So that's the primary reason. This work also has communication equipment at the top of the things because they're extremely high structures, and some of the IT equipment was damaged by lightning, so the lightning protection is needed for that reason, to protect that equipment that's up there. The police and fire department, Public Works use antennas on those structures as well for communication with each other and externally. And then also we're taking this opportunity, because they do need to be painted to prevent corrosion and things like that, to also use it for some village branding. That's we're having it painted with the village Heart Niles branding.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Trustee Liberty?
Question, yeah, Fred, for the record, how many bids did we receive?
I think 3 firms.
3 bids, and we were under the engineer's estimate, correct then?
It was 121,000 over budget.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
And Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Passes.
Item 10F, trustee Matthias.
Excuse me. I move for board approval of a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with the state of Illinois and the village of Niles appropriating funds for the Toohey and Grosse Point Road intersection improvement.
Second.
The intergovernmental intergovernmental agreement resolution with the state of Illinois is required to obtain $3,235,071 in federal and state funding for the Tui and Grosse Pointe intersection improvement.
Okay, any comments or questions to the left? Trustee Liberty, any comments or questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, 10G, Trustee Matthias, you're getting your workout tonight.
I move for board approval of a resolution authorizing a contract extension for the fiscal year 22 fire hydrant flow testing program with M.E. Simpson Company Incorporated in the amount of $52,546. This is the final extension of the contract.
Second.
Regular hydrant testing is a significant component of a water supply program. Performing a fire hydrant flow test provides the actual static pressure, residual pressure, and the flow from the hydrant. M.E. Simpson agreed to keep the same price as last year. This is the final extension of the contract.
Comments or questions to the left? Nope. Trustee Liberty? No. Nope. Call the roll.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
And Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Passes.
10H, Trustee Matthias.
I move for board approval of resolution authorizing a contractual agreement extension with Chicagoland Trenchless Rehabilitation for the fiscal year 22 sanitary and storm sewer closed circuit television CCTV inspection in the amount of $83,646.
Second.
The purpose of this work is to identify and then clean debris from both sanitary and storm main lines owned and maintained by the village. Following the cleaning, the sewer is inspected for defects so that repairs can be pursued. This is year 2 of a 3-year contract.
Comments, go ahead.
Yeah, Fred, can you tell us, because now we're 3 years in, like what the cost savings are there? Like, I would think it's pretty great. I mean, it's hard to predict, but rather than having to dig,
This is the cleaning and televising to identify where there are deficiencies in the sewers. So the cost savings is basically, this is just keeping the sewer system working properly by identifying any deficiencies or cracks or separations, and also cleaning the sewers so that they're to prevent flooding and backups.
okay.
This is
And
sanitary.
maybe spotting it before you might see it on the surface, like we
Correct.
might have had to do before.
Yeah, this would, and this is to maximize the bang for the buck when we are doing the lining, so we're not lining a sewer that doesn't have any problems with it. But at the same time, it's also being cleaned so that debris, buildup, dirt, leaves, whatever's in there gets flushed out as well at the same time.
Cool, okay, great, thank you.
Any other comments? Trustee Liberty? No. Call the roll.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
And Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. All right. 10I, Trustee Niedermeyer.
No, 10.
Thank you. No, you're right.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's all right. I move for board approval of a resolution authorizing parking easements on the property commonly known as 6200 Mulford Street, Niles.
Second.
The property owner, Rich Products, is seeking to build an addition that will remove existing parking at the 6200 Mulford property. The rest of Rich Products' parking is located on the adjacent property, 7845 Merrimack, in Morton Grove. This resolution will ensure that the two properties shall only be sold, subdivided, conveyed, assigned, transferred, mortgaged, or pledged by Rich Products on the same date without the prior express written consent of the Village of Niles.
Any comments or questions to the left? Trustee Liberty, any comments, questions? No. Call the roll.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett?
Yes.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
And Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes. 10J, back to Trustee Matthias.
I move for board approval of a resolution authorizing a contractual agreement with Christopher B. Burke Engineering to provide professional engineering services for design and construction engineering for the 2022 pavement rehabilitation program in the amount of $442,890. But, no, wait. I motion for a friendly amendment to modify the contract amount from $442,890 to a new amount of $371,575.
Okay, so we have a motion on an amendment to change the price. Do I have a second on the amendment?
Second.
John? Call the roll on the amendment, please.
Yes, trustee Matthias.
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
Trustee Liberty.
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Now if you can call for the second section.
Yes, so who was the second in the original motion?
John.
John?
John? Okay. So now this is for the resolution as amended. Trustee Matthias.
Matthias?
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
Trustee Liberty.
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
And Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
Passes.
All right, now I gotta read the
10K?
second half, right?
Trustee Matthias?
Wait, do I have to read the second half?
You can read that into the record, yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
Following a qualifications-based selection process, Christopher B. Burke Engineering was selected as the most qualified respondent for the design and construction engineering services. The contract is a time and material-based contract representing approximately 10% of the construction costs and is below typical industry benchmarks.
Been voted on now. It's well done.
We're all done,
Good.
yes. Passes.
10K, Trustee Matthias.
I move for board approval of the purchase from Train for the replacement of an independent rooftop HVAC unit for the police department, third floor, in the amount of $119,387, located at 7,000 Toohey Avenue.
Second.
Rooftop Unit 6 is a 25-year-old HVAC unit, original to the police department, that has proven to be insufficient and problematic for heating and cooling the third floor. A new independent unit is needed to sufficiently heat and cool this section of the police department. Train is the lowest qualified bidder via the U.S. Communities Purchasing Program. The proposal from Train includes engineering, design costs, and the front-end building automation system controls, in addition to the installation of the unit.
Any questions or comments from the left?
Yeah, I have one. I see that this is the heating and cooling for the chief executive offices on the third floor. I was wondering maybe just a heavier coat.
It's been very cold.
Oh, and I wanted to ask Fred, this is community purchasing. This is the community.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Matthias.
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
Trustee Liberty.
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
And Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. 10L, it's me. I move for board approval of a resolution of indemnification for IDOT State Route street closure from Milwaukee Avenue between Toohey Avenue and Harts Road in the Village of Niles for Memorial Day Parade permit on May 30th, 2022.
Second.
The Milwaukee Avenue street closure will reduce traffic around the waterfall to improve the acoustics of the ceremony and for the additional crowd space. Milwaukee Avenue is a state route and needs approval from IDOT to close for any reason. A board resolution is required as part of the parade permit application through IDOT. Are there any questions or comments? Trustee Liberty? Any
Yes.
questions, comments?
Oh, no, sorry.
Call the roll?
Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
Trustee Matthias.
Yes.
Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
Trustee Liberty.
Yes.
Passes.
Financial reports. Trustee Liberty?
Thank you. I move to approve the accounts payable, including payroll, in the amount of $10,325,047 for the month ending November 2021.
Second.
Call roll?
Trustee Liberty.
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
Trustee Matthias.
Yes.
And Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
I move that the treasurer's report for the month ending November 30th, 2021 be approved and filed for audit with the beginning cash balance of $52,069,183, receipts of $34,754,765, disbursements of $35,550,707, and an ending cash balance of $50,273,241.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
And Trustee Jenkins?
Yes.
I move to approve the accounts payable, including payroll, in the amount of $9,672,159 for the month ending December 2021.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
And Trustee Jenkins?
Yes.
Passes.
I move that the treasurer's report for the month ending December 31st, 2021 be approved and filed for audit with the beginning cash balance of $50,273,241, receipts of $18,964,369, disbursements of $26,426,287, with an ending cash balance of $42,811,323.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Liberty?
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki?
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Matthias?
Yes.
And Trustee Jenkins?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Okay, Village Clerk Victorine, next meeting, please.
Thank you. The next meeting is Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022 at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Public comments. We will now take public comments for non-agenda items. Please state your name.
Good evening. Chris Hanushak, Niles, Illinois. It might be a good evening to the 88% tax gougers, but it isn't for the taxpayers of Niles. Last month, the tax hiking trustees said they had to make a very hard decision to raise our property taxes by 88%. Every sensible person knew that was not true. Many trustees stated that they had to make the hard decisions. What kind of decisions did they make for the previous years at our expense? Were you sleeping during the previous budget meetings when the finance committees made recommendations about important financial concerns then? One trustee stated that you could no longer kick the can down the road. Why now? Have you decided to stop kicking the can down the road? What stopped you years and years ago? One trustee stated, in the future we will have new roads and infrastructure. Always vague promises about some never land. Another trustee stated that you had to put on our big boy pants on to make these decisions. What kind of pants were you wearing the last several years? I always enjoy when our comparisons are made of the Village of Niles to our neighbors. One comparison that is left out is the median individual and median household income. Based upon 2019 numbers, incomes rounded to the thousands. Niles, individuals, 30,000. Household is 65,000. Morton Grove, 38,000 individual, 85,000 household. Park Ridge, 51,000 individual, household 111,000. Glenview, 52,000 for the individual, household 115. Northbrook, 55,000, household 125,000. Major differences from Niles. You are hurting almost all of our seniors who are on fixed budgets. Have you no conscience? Explain to the beleaguered taxpayers all the salary increases over the last 8 years. The average individual income of Niles residents is $30,000, where it looks like the average of full-time employees in the Village of Niles government is approximately $100,000. This is individual income, not household. Is the future you plan to push out the seniors and lower income residents along with Niles business owners? Shame on all of you for saying that you have to make a hard decision when you have sat on this board for years, making easy decisions on wild spending while giving little attention to concern over our future. Good evening.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else? Public comments? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
Second.
It's for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body for collective bargaining, litigation, and real estate. Call the roll.
Trustee Laverde.
Yes.
Trustee Strzelecki.
Yes.
Trustee Niedermeyer.
Yes.
Trustee Matthias.
Yes.
And Trustee Jeckett.
Yes.
Thank you. And the board will adjourn from executive session. Thank you.
You're watching Niles TV. Niles, it's possible here. As part of a broader improvement and rehabilitation of Howard Street, the Village of Niles has installed rectangular rapid flashing beacons at the North Branch Trail crossing at Howard Street. The crossing utilizes not only these new flashing beacons, but also new signage, crosswalk markings, and other safety features to help pedestrians and cyclists